Alrighty, so final workout of the second week of the summer bulk, and we'll get started with the Bible verse of the day as always. So today's Bible verse comes from Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Very short Bible verse today, but a very powerful and meaningful one. So it's pointing out the Sabbath day, which is Sunday, but people also go to Mass 4 p.m., usually around that time on Saturday evening, or I guess late afternoon. So, I'm sure some of you can, or a lot of you can relate to this. You know, my first 2 years of college, I actually was at a Catholic school. I'm not gonna get into like the details of the name of the school, that stuff, but there was a and there's literally a cathedral there. There's chapels. So the opportunity to go to mass was always there for me, but I just chose not to. I'm not gonna make excuses like, oh, I wasn't in the right mental state to do that. There's never a justifiable excuse. It is literally God's law to go to mass every single Sunday as as a Christian, as a Catholic. So, missing mass for, any other reason than for like an emergency or something like that, there's no excuse. So keeping it holy is a big thing for me, and it's not even just going to mass on Sundays. I take a full rest day. I won't I won't work out. I won't do any cardio. Um, I'll still stay on my meal plan, my calories, whatever the case is, bulking or cutting. But like even when I was in school, I wouldn't always do it, but I would try to stay away from doing any schoolwork. I would get it done the day before or whatever. But it's just keeping it holy, and that's a day of rest. That's a day of which we need to go to mass. We need to you know recognize the importance of Sunday, and yeah, that's simple. So workout wise today, arms as always on Saturdays. Looking at around a 1:30, 1:45 p.m. start time. Much earlier in the day than usual, and I'm just switching that around, so I'll be working out in the afternoons for the near future because, like I said, I'm teaching these exercise classes in the evenings at the gym I used to go to. And I think I like paused my membership there, but I think I'm gonna resume it in the next week or so. I think my dad wants to join, so that's probably why I'm gonna do it. But I also have nothing against that gym. Love that gym very much. That's where I started my bodybuilding journey. So always great to go back there, and know a few people there, so it's always good to see them. But yeah, so arms today. You guys know the drill. Yeah, we'll do some cardio after. 20 minutes on the treadmill, inclined, and yeah, pretty sure that it's always usually a mixture of going up in weight or doing more reps. So I think that's what the case is. But what I always do is I'll just kind of briefly watch my videos, as I warm up and get ready while I'm in there, when I first get in there, from last week's video, just to clarify what I'm doing. And if you guys aren't really, you don't have to take videos. I mean, I think that's a good thing to do because that's how you can like critique your form, tempo, that stuff. But also, I'll just kind of jot down in my notes. I know people bring like little notepads. That's fine too. And I'll just write down like the exact weight that I did. But then I also have my videos to where I can see how many reps, the intensity, the pace, the form. So definitely suggest. You don't have to be like completely obsessive. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's obsessive and is a bad thing, but just keeping track and taking note of what you're doing with your progress, is a huge thing because that just goes hand in hand with consistency. If you're not tracking your stuff, same thing with calories. you're not going to make the progress you want. So, got to be on top of things, and yeah. So, let's get in there and see you guys after the workout. Alright, so first movement of today's arm workout will be the tricep push downs with the straight bar attachment we have here. And I've been doing these for months now, and yeah, just always feel a very good contraction, very good stimulation with these. And I'm just making sure to pause at the top of the movement here, the fully stretched position, and then coming all the way down at the bottom for that full contraction. And yeah, same principles as always. Slow tempo, very controlled reps, especially slow on the eccentric part of the movement when I'm bringing it back up. And we're feeling in the 5 to 9 rep range here. Today's arm workout will be the tricep overhead extensions with the dumbbell, and going pretty heavy on this using the 90-pound dumbbell here. And I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to keep doing this. I just used to always do these years ago in high school when I was really just trying to put on muscle, and training the triceps was a big part of training for baseball. So I'm used to this movement, so I figured I'd implement it back in. But going forward, I mean, just with going a lot heavier, so what I'll do to really get the dumbbell back there is I'll rest it up on my shoulder and then put it back behind my head. So just that whole process of getting the dumbbell back behind my head can be a bit of just using a lot more energy than I think you need to, and it's not the most safe thing, I guess. It's just not very safe. So because of that, and just trying to prevent any injuries from happening, I may move to another cable variation of overhead extensions starting next week. Probably will do so, but we'll see what happens if it's available, as always. But yeah, next movement will be for biceps. Alright, so next movement and the first movement for biceps today are going to be hammer curls with the rope attachment, also with the fat grips on them. And I was just going to use the regular rope attachment by itself, but then I also saw that my gym has another rope attachment with the fat grips on it, so I figured, as I do my dumbbell curls and barbell curls with the Cobra grips, which the purpose of those is to eliminate the forearms out of the movement, the grip, taking your grip out of it pretty much, and just putting a lot more focus with the tension on your biceps, so you don't have to really, stop doing the movement because, you're losing your grip and, your forearms are fatigued. So this helps with that. And I was just getting pretty sloppy with the dumbbell hammer curls, so I figured I'd give this a try. And felt really good. Same principles as always: slow tempo, pausing at the bottom of the movement, and feeling in the 5 to 9 rep range ideally. Alright, so the next movement for biceps today will be the seated incline dumbbell curls, alternating dumbbell curls. You could do these at the same time, and it's just, a preference for me, similar to whenever I do seated incline dumbbell bench press. I'll alternate them, and I just feel a good tension because while I'm bringing the other one up, I'm holding the other one in my other hand at the fully stretched position, so just more tension there, and just what I prefer, and I just feel better stimulation with that. So that's why I prefer the alternating dumbbell curls. And yeah, same thing as always, slow and controlled on the eccentric part of the movement. So the final movement for biceps today will be standing barbell curls. And as you guys can see, I have the bench set up behind me. I have it set straight up to be similar to what I did before, which was standing up against a wall at my old gym. And the reason for that is to avoid using my momentum, any swinging movement, backwards and forwards, to just put more attention and focus on the biceps. And same thing with that, using the cobra grips, just taking the grip out of it, the forearms out of it, putting more attention and focus to the biceps themselves as they have the targeted muscle, and feeling in the 5 to 9 rep range, slow and controlled, pausing at the bottom, and some good partial reps at the end here. Feeling a really good squeeze, really good tension. So definitely suggest doing these. This is probably the best. So the final movement for today is reverse barbell curls, targeting the forearms. And as you guys can see, standing up against the bench again. And this time I have my just normal wrist wraps on to just support my wrists, because with this it's easy to really just bend your wrist, and that can really lead to some kind of wrist injury, so we don't want to do that. But I've been doing these for years, most of them for baseball, but doing them still today, and very, very good tension on the forearms here. So the final movement for today's workout will be the second time that I do leg raises this week. So obviously a completely biased core workout. And I think a common theme with training core is overtraining it, because with pretty much all movements, you're using your core muscles, but more so with compound movements, you're using them a lot. Squats, bench, deadlift. So I don't feel a need, especially with this training volume, to train my core more than twice a week with just 2 sets to failure, 15 to 30 rep range, and adding some resistance here with the medicine ball and then the drop set after. My preference, I just felt like adding some resistance at some point would be good, because training with progressive overload, no reason to not train my core similar to how I train everything else. So that's it for today, and I'll see you guys Monday for hamstrings. Alrighty, so yesterday's arm workout went very well. So just to sum up the adjustments that I made and progressions, did a different variation for hammer curls. We used the 2, I'll just call it the rope attachment, but also this rope attachment had 2 fat grips on them. I'm sure you guys know what those are. You've seen them in the gym. I think they've been around for a good while, but they just really serve the same purpose, on this attachment at least. And I think every attachment, but there are ones that I think you can move in and outward, like on a barbell for bench press or something. But for using these on a barbell for curls or for the rope, just takes the forearms and the grip out of it a bit to where you can just focus more on the biceps. So I use those with the rope attachment for hammer curls on the cable. So those felt really good, but we could definitely jump up and weight next week. Because I got a good amount of reps with those, but definitely can bump the weight up. And then, yeah, I mean, everything else was really the same. Not really any adjustments made. But progression-wise, we got more reps on the movements we needed to, doing the same weight we did last week on the movements. But except for, not a huge thing, but the second set of seated incline curls with the dumbbells. Last week I did 50 pounds for the first set, and then I jumped down to 45s, which I usually don't do. I usually do the same weight for if I'm doing 2 sets, but use the 50s for the second set. So those felt really good, and so we obviously made progress there, which was very good, as always. But yeah, so just got more reps for pretty much every movement. Yeah, nothing crazy. So yeah, that completes the second week of the bulk. And oh, I forgot. With leg raises, I used the 5-pound medicine ball and just put those between my 2 feet, and just to add some resistance. And then once I failed on those, got rid of the ball, did a drop set without the ball. So those felt really good. But yeah, that completes the second week of the summer bulk, and the third week's coming up, which will start tomorrow. Well, starts today technically, but it starts tomorrow, workout wise. We got a hamstring focused leg day, so I will see you guys tomorrow for that.